Good evening, class. My name is David Papillon. I'm here to present on the topic of poverty, which is something that's really dear to me because growing up, I lived in poverty basically my whole life up until high school. Um, we lived in a two-bedroom apartment, me and my sisters and my brothers. It was 7 of us. We all slept in the same room in bunk beds. It was just horrible. We switched clothes every day. We tried our best to keep our shoes clean because we knew that my mom couldn't afford it anymore. It was just horrible, and it's really touching to me. So I wanted to present on this. What does it mean to live in poverty? To live in poverty means to not have enough money to meet the basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter, according to the government of New Brunswick, which I think is in Canada. I'm sure everyone has seen a person begging for money on the side of the street, at red lights, at stores, things like that. That's a person living in poverty, and whether you believe it or not, it could be you one day. So if I was you, I'll pay attention. I did a research, I did a lot of research actually, and I came across a website called welfareinfo.org, and it stated that Lafayette, Louisiana has a poverty rate of 19.1%, which means out of 122,069 people, 23,339 residents live in poverty in Lafayette, Louisiana, which I think is crazy, and we need to work at trying to figure out a way to actually change these statistics. Who does poverty affect? Actually, it affects everyone, from kids to teenagers to old adults. Imagine living in poverty to where you don't have money to pay for insurance. So if you're sick or anything like that, you might basically die because you don't have enough money to afford insurance. And one of the big killers of a person living in poverty is chronic disease. Something like, think of diabetes. And it says, I did research and I came across this statistic saying that about 70% of deaths in this country comes from chronic disease, and 50% of people living in poverty are African Americans. So that means 70% of us are dying from chronic disease, something that can be cured as simply as having health insurance, things like that. How can we help? The people directly affected by the problem must be active in efforts to fight poverty. We should create groups within the community to help many people rather than only a few individuals in our community that suffer from poverty. The people who are affected need to identify the issue, know that they're living in poverty, and figure out ways to defeat it, go to work, something like that. People in poverty need to understand that they can often address and solve their own issues, and know that living in poverty, fighting poverty takes time. It takes time. You have to identify it, and then you have to do something about it, work out a plan for it. And another way I think we can solve this issue is by raising minimum wage, things of that nature. That's my presentation, and I want to thank you for listening. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.